done it for years.
This is the new newsmaker.
I don't know his name, but I know what happened.
I even like, oh, I don't do it.
Just wait. Let's everybody look and see who that is.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, really messed up.
Anybody know his name?
No.
His name is Tyler Clemente. Tyler Clemente. No, he does not go to this school. Yes. Well, it's a little bit longer than that, but Aubrey, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Oh, I thought it was his roommate, like videotaped him kissing and making out with another guy, and then and posted on Facebook, and then he jumped off of a bridge and committed suicide. That's the whole incident.
Here's what happens, and this is sort of newsmaker and sort of free education with regard to college. One of the most difficult things that you're going to find when you get to college is your roommate situation. Some of you, fortunately or unfortunately, have had a room probably the size of this room, all your own, all your life. And you've had your own little private bathroom. I'm not trying to be condescending. It's just some of you have, and that's just the way it is. When you get to college, the room is about a quarter of this size. There are 2 beds, 2 dressers, 2 closets in the room. You can decide to bunk them, and there are 2 desks. So there are 2 closets, 2 dressers, 2 desks, and 2 beds in a room 1/4 this size. So you figure if we're going to do a quarter, the room is going to be about the size of these 3 rows in total. Wow. And it's got 2 beds, 2 chairs, 2 desks, and 2 dresser drawers and 2 closets in that size of room. If you haven't gone to camp, it's going to be a little claustrophobic, but that's how kids live in the dorms. Most of you will go to colleges where you are required to live in dormitories for at least your first year. After that, you can get apartments.
So wait, this is a homosexual man?
I'm going to get there.
He's gonna get there, all right?
I'm going to give you a little free education along the way here.
Don't make me come back there.
Yeah, please. Now, you go through, when you get accepted to college, and after you put your deposit down, you'll receive sort of surveys as to sort of who you are and what you like and so on. Now, if you go to Michigan State, most of you will room Detroit Country Day kids because you don't know anybody else, or you don't want to know anybody else. You just want to kind of hang out with the people you went to high school with all your life. Because a lot of guys who go to Michigan State, that's what they do. They room with other Detroit Country Day kids. If you go somewhere else, you tend to go and fill out information, and they sort of pair you up with people who somewhat are like you. Most people have lousy experiences their first year in college if they don't have a compatible roommate. Roommates make the first year the event that is the most miserable. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes you'll have absolutely nothing in common. Sometimes you'll do things just to piss them off, and they'll do things just to piss you off. And that's sort of the way it is. In addition to that, some of you will have friends with whom you've had either a high school relationship or a budding new relationship in college. And you realize that, oh my gosh, mom and dad are not around, and this is my room. So you will ask your roommate to give you the dorm room for the night or for a couple of hours or whatever. And believe it or not, most of you will do so. You'll give up sleeping in your bed with the nice linen and stuff that your parents just went out and bought, and you'll go down the hall and sleep on somebody else's floor. What you'll do. You may not think you will do it, but you will. You'll be kind of ticked off that you have to do it, but the guy's going to look at you and you want to be nice. And the guy's going to go, oh, you know, or the girl's going to go, oh, you know, my boyfriend's coming into town, come on. You know, you're friends with so-and-so, just go down the hall and sleep with them. It's only one night. I haven't seen them for a whole week. Or I haven't seen them for a whole 2 weeks or whatever. And you will, trust me, you will do this. It happens at every campus. It happens ever since they went co-ed dorms and didn't check you in. It's been happening. What happened with this particular young man was he asked his buddy to give him some dorm private time. He went down the hall. Happened again. He went down the hall. Happened again. He went down the hall and he's kind of ticked off. Instead of confronting him and saying, hey, no, find someplace else, or go to your other friend's room and do it there, he got ticked off. No, this guy did not. This is the guy who was inviting someone into his room. So what his roommate did was he hooked up a webcam, not to his computer, but somewhere near his computer where he could actually webcam whatever was happening inside the dorm room. And then, much to his surprise, he found out that the guy who was his roommate was engaging in a relationship with another guy. And they were having make-out sessions in the dorm room, which he then got on webcam. And at first, he tweeted, said, yo, to all his, brand new 650,000 friends at Rutgers University, and said, yo, I just webcammed my roommate. He's making out with a dude. Ah! Because that's apparently how many letters you can put in the tweet on Twitter. So, at that point, 80 bazillion guys tweeted back to him and said, yo, dude, who is it? So he tweeted back, go to Facebook and you'll see. And so on Facebook, he put a downloaded YouTube of this roommate, Tyler Clemente, and this other guy making out. And now it gets spread out on YouTube and to all, I think Rutgers has about at least 35,000 students. Now all 35,000 students are watching that thing going, ew, dude. Tyler, he's embarrassed. He's young. He's fragile because he's never been through that. He doesn't know how he's going to, his parents may not have done it. He may not have come out of the closet. He may not have wanted to have come out of the closet. May have been experimenting. Who knows? His response? Commit suicide. Response by the New Brunswick police. You invaded the kid's privacy. The roommate's arrested, and so is the girl down the hall where the guy stayed, because it was webcam to her computer from which she downloaded it to YouTube. students in the last 2 years, just so that you'll know, who sat there right about where you are, in fact, probably where you are, in those very same seats, who when I gave a similar kind of a situation 2 years ago, looked at me and went, yeah, you know, maybe George's parents, you know, spied on him, but my parents, they're clueless, they don't know anything. Or, come on, my password's so secure, there's nobody gonna get in there. Just this past year, I'm speaking with 2 parents from normal kids just like you, who've said to me, you know what? We got on Facebook the other day and saw our kid at a party. One of them, they were hugging the porcelain throne, calling for King. Wow! Right? It's all on videotape. It's all on Facebook, and you put it there. Oh, you guys thought it was so funny. Everybody thought it was so funny. Nobody knows my password. Baloney. I do. You need to be very, very careful with this stuff. What you do with that stuff, if not done well, can be incredibly hurtful. Now, you also need to know, and we'll get on what some of the stuff I want to definitely talk about. You need to know that in college, it is not necessarily a safe place, and it's gotten more and more violent. So you need to make sure that you understand you need to protect yourself. There's a shooting at the University of Utah. You know, there's been a shooting at Texas. There's been shootings at Virginia Tech. There has been shootings at a lot of places, and also a place as small as a school of 2,000 to as large as a school of 60,000 can be at times a very lonely place. And there are opportunities for people who are lonely and depressed to take their lives. You'd be surprised, but most people know this. Cornell has the highest suicide rate of any college in America. And you might ask why. Well, one, it's academically rigorous. Number 2, right next to campus, there are cliffs.
It's all throughout campus.
So it's real easy to just fly away. That's why California in San Francisco has an incredibly high rate of suicide, because people go, I'm going to make my troubles, I'm going to get over my troubles, and they go west, and they get to California, and the Pacific Ocean is next, and they go, let's just end it. My point is, number 1, your life is too valuable. Number 2, at those campuses, there is help. And number 3, you need to be aware that it can be not the greatest time of